My dear friends, in the previous classes we have learned the basic PHP syntax, working with the basic PHP application, loop, conditional statements, functions of PHP, and also we have learned the database handling, how to run the queries using the XAMPP server, how to run the localhost server, all the things we have learned in the previous classes. In this particular class we are going to learn how to work with the XAMPP using the front-end application. So here we have got the front-end application that we can see a candidate registration form that has been designed using the HTML and CSS. We have got this form, and here is you can see we have got the XAMPP server and inside the XAMPP server we have got the test database. The database we have created, the name of the database is test, and in that database we have also created a table. So the table name is student registration, and you can see how many columns are there: student name, if name, that is the further name, number, city, and ID 1 2 3 4 5. So 5 column I have created in this table, and ID is the primary key. Let me show you the structure over here. Now you can see 5 column table I have created, right? And in this form I have got 5 field, 1 2 3 4 5 fields. So user is going to provide data here in this field. Let's say I'm going to write the name, father's name, and the number, and the city, and other number, right? And I'm going to insert this data from the user end. I'm going to insert this data. So user will click the submit button, okay, and after that what is going to happen, the data will be inserted in the database. So you can see data has been inserted in the database. So how is this going to happen? This thing I'm going to explain you in this particular lecture. So let me first delete this data again. So I'm going to teach you this part of the lecture today. So let us start. So here I've got the form design. So I'm not going to explain to you the form design because this thing I've already explained to you in the HTML classes. So if you have not learned this particular thing, find my HTML CSS classes. You will get the form design class over there. Please go and see that class. So I'm going to discuss this portion, that is how you can insert data in the database by using the form. So here is the form, and you can see this is the student name field. So this is the input, right? And the namespace have given the name over here, that is student name. So this particular field will accept some data from the user. I'm talking about this field. Let me show you this particular field, right? So this particular field is going to accept the student name, and this will be this thing will be recognized by this namespace student name. And here user is going to provide the further name, and this input field will be recognized by the name further. And here user is going to provide the mobile number, so this will be recognized by the namespace number. After that this input is going to accept the name of the city where the student is residing, and this field is going to recognize by the namespace city. And the last you can see the other number, which has been taken and considered as the primary key because each and every student must be having a unique other number, and this field will accept the other number of the candidate, and that will be recognized by the namespace other. And we are taking this inside the form. You can see form, okay, and the method that we are going to apply in this form, that is post method that we are going to use. So what is post method and what is get method? Already this thing has been discussed in the previous classes. If you have not seen those videos, find those videos from the playlist, and action will be taken to the next page, that is insert.php. So what code I have written in the insert.php, let me show you that. So all this data will be carried to this page, that is insert.php, and this is insert.php. The first thing we have to do, that is known as creating the connection. So we are going to create the connection. So let me create the connection now. So to create the connection, so we have taken the variables over here now. So one variable I have taken, that is server name. Any variable you can take. So I have taken the name server name, and here I have written localhost server. So why I have written localhost server? So this is the reason for me to have written over here localhost server, because we are using the localhost server. Just see, this is the localhost server. So I have installed the XAMPP inside my machine. So that XAMPP I am accessing. So first I have to access this localhost server. So this is the server that you can see. So the server is 127.0.0.1. Instead of localhost I could have written 127.0.0.1. This would also had worked, right? So this is known as self-test loopback IP address. So here I have written, you can see, because I am accessing my XAMPP server, so I have written this thing here, localhost. So each and every server is having the user ID. The user ID is root, and password is blank. I have not taken any password. So user ID is root over here. The user is root because I am using the root user. Okay, so local server, and you can see root user is root. You can take it over here. Root at the rate of localhost, that is root user. And let me just increase the size so that you can see it better. Now just see, a user is root, and you can see out over here that is localhost server. So that is why I have written. And password I have not given any password. Password is blank, right? Password I have not given. So you can give password. I have not given any password, so it is blank. It is kept blank. And the database name is test. Let me show you. This is the database name which I have created, test. So here are some other databases. So I am going to use this test database. So this particular database which I am going to use, and this is the table. So you do not require to mention the table. So these 4 parameters you need to pass while you are going to create the connection. The first one is the server name, then the user name of the server, then the password, and then the database. I have taken a variable, that is con variable. Okay, so you may take any variable. Variable name is user defined name, and this is the function. The function is new MySQLI. So this function is going to create the connection. So how are you going to create this connection? By this 4 parameter that you have to pass here over here. So while creating the connection, this new MySQLI, this particular function is going to create the connection. So to create the connection, first we have to connect to the database. So this is going to connect with this the localhost server. After that, I'm going to access through the username is root, and after that I'm going to access using the password. The password is blank over here, and after that the database which I have created, that is the test database which I am going to work with. So this is how I am going to create this connection. And if this connection is going to be created, then this connection I am going to store inside this variable, right? So this is how I am going to create the connection. Now I am going to check this connection if it has been created or not. So this connection variable, I am going to check it out inside the condition I have taken. So this is how to run to the check query. So this is another function I'm going to take, that is connect error. So if it pass out any error while going to connect with this localhost server, if it is going to throw any error, then it will be shown to me. If in case any errors occur, then this message will be thrown using the echo command. So you can see it will be written that connection is failed to establish, and if this does not throw any error, then this connection is not going to work. This else part is going to work, and it will throw me connection established. So let me execute this insert.php file. So I'm going to execute this insert.php file. So here I'm going to execute INAC insert.php. So now you can see connection established. Right now connection has been established. Now let me do another thing. So here you can see I'm going to stop this MySQL. Right, Apache server is running, but the MySQL I have stopped. So you can see only Apache server is running. So this particular function is not running. This service is stopped. Now you can see this service has been stopped. Now let me show you. Now again I'm going to execute this file, that is insert. Now it is taking a little bit of time. Now you can see connection is failed to establish because here I have stopped this service. Now let me again run this. I have clicked to this option. Now you can see this is again running. MySQL service again I have started. Now let me execute this once more. Now connection established. Right, now I have successfully been connected over here. Now instead of taking variable, I could have written this inside this. Let me show you. So if you want, you may not take this variable. Let me show you. This thing you can do. So password is blank. So and this is the database that I've created. The database name is test. Now I'm not going to take any variable. So just see this you can do inside. So I've just taken a variable name, that is CONN variable, and in this variable I'm going to store this connection. Right, to create this MySQLI connection, I have taken the function. So I'm using this function new MySQLI. So to connect with the database, I'm going to use this function new MySQLI. This is going to create a connection with the localhost server along with the database. So first I'm using the localhost server. First I'm going to connect to the localhost server. Then I'm going to access the user. The user is root. Right, now you can see over here the user. So I'm going to connect with the localhost server. So this is the localhost server. You can see over here this is the localhost server that we are using. Now I'm going to access the user name root. Right, after that the password is blank. I have not set any password. I haven't set any password, so it is kept blank. So I have not written. Now I'm going to use the test database. So there are so many databases. I'm going to work with this database. So I'm going to create the connection with this database. So create connection with this database. First I have to access the server and then the username through which I'm going to access the database. After that I'm also going to give the password. Password is blank, and now the database. Now let me save this file. So I save this file. Okay, so let me execute this same. So again I'm going to stop this service. Now let me execute this query insert.php. Now you can see, so connection is failed to establish. Connection hasn't been established because you can see I have just switched off this MySQL service. Now if I switch on the MySQL service, what is going to happen? Let me show you. Now this error will not comes out, right? This error had thrown me once I have switched off the XAMPP server. Now I have again switched off the XAMPP server. Now let me again execute. Now you can see connection established, right? Now so connection has been established successfully. Now what is our target? Our target is we have to insert data inside this table. How can I insert data inside this table? To insert data inside this table, what I need to do, let me tell you. So here I've got the form, right? So let me just reduce the size of this form. So here I've got the form. You can see this form I have designed. Now you know how to design this sort of form. You have learned this in HTML and CSS classes, and I'm not going to explain this furthermore. So I'm going to insert data. So here I've given some data, and this data I am going to insert in the database. Now how I'm going to do that? For that, here, so connection has been established, but so I have to write the query that we have learned how to insert data in the database. So if the connection has been established, then here let me delete this thing. Here I'm going to execute the insert query. So what is the exact query? Now that you can see over here, the exact query. So first what you need to do, let me tell you. From this field, using this namespace student name, I'm going to fetch the data from the form to the insert.php, right? So from the form to this page, I'm going to get the data using the post method. So you can see student name, further name, then number, city, and other number. So this 5 data will be taken to insert.php to that page. How is that going to happen? Let me tell you. Now you can see this is the field. Okay? These are the 5 fields which is going to accept data, and here are the namespace: student name, further name. Now we can see city, and other, right? And here you can see I'm going to fetch the data in the next page, insert.php, using the post method. So this already has been explained in detail in the previous videos, right? How to send data from one file to another file. You go and check it over there if you don't know. Now you can see this data will be carried here. Now let me, before sending the data into the database, I'm just going to see that has the data been carried to this page or not. For that, here I'm going to write echo. Okay, so I'm going to, so using this, you can see I'm going to fetch the data using the post method. I'm going to take the data inside this variable. So now I'm going to print this variable now. So let me just check those data before sending those into the database. Okay, so first I'm going to check. Now you can see I'm going to print all this data which will be carried from this page to this page. So let me execute first. So here I have provided the data. Now you can see all the data has been printed. That means successfully I can send data from this file to this file. Now this data I'm going to print. So I have already printed this data, so I'm going to send this data now into the database. Now so first what I need to do, so a connection has been created, right? So I have created this connection. So using that connection I'm going to run the query. Just see, using the connection which I have created, I'm going to run the query, MySQL query. So this MySQL query I'm going to execute insert into student registration. Insert into student registration. So what is student registration? So the table name is student registration. You can see student registration is the table name which I have created. Inside this table I've got 5 fields. In those 5 fields I'm going to send these 5 data. So the values I'm going to store into the table. So first this variable value will be stored, that is student name, then student further name, then the contact number, city, and other number. So see this query, you can check it out, this query. Okay, now so let me execute this query. Now just see, so here is the form, right? So this data I'm going to insert into the database. So if I click the submit button, now you can see the data has been inserted over here. Now you can see over here, so data has been successfully inserted. So you can see, let me just do a revision now. So first I have created the connection. To create connection I have taken 4 parameters. First I have connected with the local server, then I have used the root username, the password, and the database inside which I have created the table. The table name is student registration. Now in case if we fail to connect with the database, this error will be thrown and it will be printed that connection has not been established. Okay, the connection is failed to establish. And if the connection is established, then what is going to happen? Let me show you. From the form to this insert page, using the post method, I am going to access these values, right? So these values will be stored inside these 5 variables, and after that I'm going to use this connection which I have created with the localhost database, and in this connection I'm going to run the query. Now which query? That is insert into student registration. This query I'm going to execute, right? See this query, and after that I'm going to run this query insert into student registration, and I'm going to put the values of the variables in this way, right? Now let me just write over here. Now in case if you have to show something, right, here in this page, now you can see this page is blank. If I have to show something that the data has been inserted successfully or not, then here I have to take another variable, that is, let's say $SQL. So another variable that I'm going to take over here, right? In this variable, so I'm going to put this value. This variable is going to keep the value of this query. Now if I write if, now I'm going to check this query. If this query returns true, that means if this query has been executed successfully, and in case if the data has been inserted successfully, then this variable will comes out true. And if this happens, it is going to print that data has been inserted successfully. Otherwise, if this query has not been executed successfully, it will be printed data failed to get inserted successfully, right? So let us perform now. So let us insert some data, say Saugato Mukherjee, Sovi Mukherjee, further name, contact number, okay, living in Sirampur, another number, so I've given something. Now I'm going to click the submit button. Now you can see it has been printed, data has been inserted successfully. So data has been inserted successfully, that means this SQL comes out true, this variable comes out true, that means this query has been executed successfully. This query has been executed successfully, so data has been inserted over here. Let me show you. Now you can see Saugato Mukherjee, Sobi Mukherjee, contact number, city, and ID number. So data has been inserted successfully into the database. So I hope you have learned in this particular class how to insert data into the database from the registration form or from the front end to the back end database, how to do this communication using the localhost XAMPP server, and how to execute the MySQL query incorporated with the PHP application. That thing I've explained to you in detail in this particular video. In the next video I will show you how you can fetch data from the database. So how to run the select query inside the PHP application and execute that inside your PHP application to fetch data from the database. That I'm going to show in the next video. So in the previous videos I've explained to you the basic PHP applications and the database handling, some of the queries. If you have not seen those videos, find the playlist and see those videos. Thank you and goodbye for today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing to this channel, and if you like this video, click the like button and share this video with your friend. Thank you and goodbye for today.